And it's time for Three Guys Who Love Sports. My name is Chuck Burge, here with my co-host, as always, Mr. Robert Kenny, and our favorite bartender in the world, Sean. Hey, Caitlin just come in. Caitlin, we need to talk to you. But how are you, buddy?
Same old, same old. How about y'all?
Back on the full schedule here. We're happy to have Sean Mann back.
Yes, sir.
My life is complete.
I mean, you're setting the bar real low.
So we wanted to.
He does that a lot.
Yeah, I do that. That way I can reach it. So your Jets are toast now. Seriously, are they going to draft another quarterback?
I can't really speculate on who they're going to draft, but as usual, it's going to be an epic failure.
Well, we did the draft this year when we were doing it at another location. And out of all 10 picks we did, one person got one draft pick right for the right team. It was me. Picked Sauce Gardner for the Jets. And that's who they wound up with. But
I will say that one's worked out pretty
well. We
well.
were so close. We're going to talk next week about what draft picks worked out well and what didn't. He'd probably be the number one guy.
Definite.
Speaking of number one, what's going on here at Miller's Ale House?
Same old, same old. Same specials. We got a couple new beers on draft.
Crab legs tonight, right?
Yes, sir. We've got a Imperial Peach Cider from Dry County, the closest local brewery. We just tapped Dr. Robot, which is a berry lemon sour from Monday night. Looking at we're changing up some of our taps here coming up in a few months. So definitely exciting stuff on the beer list.
Something to look forward to for the spring, right?
Yes, sir.
Very cool.
All right. Well, Sean, thanks as always for taking care of us, buddy.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you at the bar.
I'll be there.
I know you will. So real quick, before we bring in our guests, let me tell you a little bit about our show. Our show is to celebrate or to honor guys that are going through some tough times with physical or mental issues, and we want to help take their minds off what they're going through for an hour every week. And if we can do that, you can do that, and we all help one another. This world will be a better place. Right now, our guest of the week, he's over here making notes. Are you listening to what I'm saying, Alvin? Alvin, come on in, man.
He's wearing a Yankees hat and he's writing. There's something that doesn't
Big
add
applause
up.
for Alvin. Where's the applause for Alvin? Look, ATI's trying. It's not working, no. There you go. Alvin, welcome, buddy.
Man, I appreciate the invite, and it's an honor and a privilege to be here on the show with you guys.
Well, we're going to talk some
Glad to
fun
have you.
sports.
Man, the first thing I want to say, I just want to address that question about the Jets. Because as a native New Yorker, I'm a Giants fan, and I love the NFC East. So, first, I have to say that. Second, the Jets, they have an excellent coach. They do have a very good coach.
They don't have this guy anymore.
Well, the problem is they don't have a quarterback. They can't make their mind up on a quarterback.
Never have, never will.
And I'm going to throw something out there. You ready?
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers. Just imagine that. Broadway Rodgers.
Broadway,
60
Aaron.
million reasons why that one probably won't happen.
Probably won't happen.
Hey, man.
But we'll get to
Were
the
you
NFL.
alive when Broadway Joe was there?
I was.
No, that was him.
Oh, well, how much did it cost to get Broadway Joe?
It's a
Not
different
that big.
world.
He
It's
was-
a different
He
world.
was a rookie out of Alabama.
All
I
right.
just got to throw.
Well, we'll talk some
something out
NFL smacking a bit, but let's get back on schedule, and we'll talk about some pro basketball.
All right.
I heard you're a pro basketball fan, so.
Man, I'm a diehard New York Knicks fan.
Oh, well, there
I
you
am.
go.
Well, he said pro basketball. Are you still a fan?
Wow. Boom. Look at
Boom.
Robert.
We still have a coach, though. We still have Thibs that is doing well, and the Knicks are doing better
I'm an Atlanta
than what
fan.
I thought.
I might talk a good smack, but, at the end of the day, yeah, it can always get served back to me even more so.
I go to Atlanta Hawks games just for the simple fact that I live in Atlanta, and the problem with the Atlanta Hawks is they need a backup big man. They need a backup big man for Capella. They have a backcourt with Trae Young and the boy from the Spurs.
Correct.
They're doing well there.
And
They
I
need a
like
backup
the
big man.
kid out of USC. This is Aquin. He's the backup center.
Yeah.
Very physical. I don't know. We'll see.
They still
Well,
need a
we'll get
backup.
into
They
some
need-
talk
they need
play.
more bigs.
Let's talk about something that Pat Riley said this week. Pat Riley said that he thought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the best player of all time. What say ye?
What say ye?
For the time, at the time when he retired, 20 years in the league, he was the best player. He had all the records, All the records, most points, most games played, except Will's record of most women that he's been with. But Kareem had all the other records. So there is good argument for the fact that at one time Kareem was the best player ever. You know, we talk about generational basketball and how much it's changed from the 60s and 70s till now. It's a different game. It was no three-point line. It was true team basketball. And now, Alvin, you hear me say all the time that it's now become a three-point game and drive the lane and get fouled and shoot free throws. And that's basically all the game is now.
You used the interesting word there. You said was.
Yeah.
Was. So as we go into the new millennium, the new regime, you have to respect Kareem. You have to. He's been the all-time leading scorer for decades.
He's clearly
Decades.
one of the top 5.
Decades.
And he was a great co-pilot
Yes.
in Airplane.
Yes. Decades.
Roger
Murdoch.
My dad says you don't work on defense too hard. Tell your old man to travel up and down the court
Like
with
Bill
Walton.
You're right. But again, a new regime is coming in, and you have to respect the LeBron Jameses of the world because there's no other player that has been in the top 10 in 3 categories. You have no choice but to respect points, rebounds, and assists.
Is LeBron your guy?
I'm a Knicks fan, and I'm going to regret saying this to the day that I die, but I'd say Michael Jordan. And as much as damage he's done to the New York Knicks, I can't stand him, but you have to respect him. You just like Kobe Bryant. I wasn't a huge fan of Kobe Bryant, but you have to respect him and the stuff and the work
You can hate
that
the
he's
player,
done.
but you can't hate the game.
Exactly.
There are a lot of great athletes that
Exactly.
have played this game.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant's one of them. We'd argue all night about LeBron because I'm not a LeBron fan. But there have been Walt Frazier, Pete Maravich.
Yeah.
I mean, and now Giannis and Ja Morant and Stephen Curry. I mean, there are some great players that have played this game.
And they're still playing.
Is John Morant your answer, Chuck?
No. That's Steve
No.
Pearson's answer, I guarantee you.
He
Steve's
doesn't
a
have
big
enough
Ja Morant
credits
fan.
yet.
No,
He doesn't have
he's
enough
not there
credits
yet.
yet. No.
My answer is Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
6-time champion.
Yeah.
Probably could have been 8. He's just a great athlete. Went and played baseball with the Birmingham Barons for a while. He could do it all. I think he had a great supporting cast, which is something some of the other players haven't had. But he had Pippen, he had Rodman, he had
Pippen and Rodman, those are huge
He had the Zen
assets,
Master.
man.
yeah.
Yeah,
He had the
Zen.
coach.
Yeah,
What'd
yeah,
you say?
the coach.
The Zen
The
Master.
Zen
yeah.
Master.
Yeah.
Phil Jackson, the one thing that I always liked about Jordan's teams is I can remember in those first 3 championships, they had 3 7-footers. None of
Yeah.
them were any good, but combined, that's 18 really rough fouls that you're going to get, and they shared them equally. Whether Bill Wennington or Luke Longley or whoever else, you're getting a smackdown.
Yeah.
You're going to think about it next time.
Yeah. It's how many fouls can you give? How
18
can you
from that
wear?
position.
How can you wear the opponent's team down? And then you have Jordan, which is the ultimate scorer, and you have Pippen that took a lot off of his plate. Let's understand, Pippen was a key part to a lot of Jordan's stuff, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, both of you are wrong. But it's okay because that's what this is all about. It's all about love and understanding.
Well, just
So
like Pat
since we're
Riley,
wrong,
Pat
who is your
Riley
answer?
has his right to his opinion too, right?
Pat Riley, if Pat Riley said anybody else, Pat Riley wouldn't be Pat Riley. Pat Riley won all those championships because he had, of course, and one name that we haven't mentioned was Magic. But, between Magic and Kareem during the 80s.
And Worthy.
Well, you can go Worthy and McAdoo and Cooper and Goggle Man. Who's Goggle Man? God, I love that dude.
Kurt.
Yeah, Kurt Rambis.
Kurt
Rambis, yeah.
Kurt
Rambis,
Rambis.
Coming
yeah.
in there. But at the end of the day,
Goggle Man.
I have to go with this guy. His,
Yeah,
na-
Robert said he's got a lot to say. I can't wait to hear this.
his name was Wilt.
Okay.
His
Just
last
still.
name was Chamberlain.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just going to read you a couple things. I try
They
not to read.
changed the rules for him.
They changed 5 different rules
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
Just to go over those real quick. Offensive goaltending Defensive goaltending, size of the lane. They widened the lane by 4 feet because of Wilt. Free throw shooting and inbounding the ball. Did you know that they changed free throw shooting because of Wilt?
No, I didn't.
In the early days, Wilt would let the ball go, but the rule was that once you let the ball go, you could go. So he could jump from the line and dunk his own free throws. And there is a lot of video of this. So they actually changed the rule that the person shooting free throws isn't allowed to move until the ball touches the cylinder or the rim. And that was Wilt, because he was basically throwing alley-oops to himself. The inbound ball, did you know what they changed with that?
I did not.
They used to throw it over the backboard. It was an alley-oop. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to throw it over the backboard, and there's only one 7'2" guy on the court. He's going to get it,
He's gonna get
and
it,
he's
yeah.
going to make it happen. So,
You're right.
in his life, we know he averaged 50 points in a season.
50.
Average for the whole season.
Just imagine today's NBA's rules with these guys playing.
There'd
Like,
be
it would be crazy.
there'd be nobody strong enough to push him around to get him out of the spot. He also has second, third, and fourth for most highest points per season
In the season.
Wow.
in a single season. He scored 100 in a game. He once scored 60 points in 4 straight games. Nobody in
60 points.
in
Didn't
four- in-
Kobe come close to that, though?
Kobe scored,
Kobe did.
I believe, like 81 one time or
Well,
something
that's
like that.
one, but he went on a streak where he was.
Nobody has ever scored 60 twice in a row. This guy
Much
did it
less
4
4
times in a row.
Yeah,
He
okay.
is also the career leader in rebounds. He averaged for his career, you ready for this? 22.9 boards a game for his career.
What did Dennis Rodman do? Dennis Rodman didn't come close to that?
Not even
Not even
in
close.
the ballpark.
Okay.
55. He still holds the all-time record for most in a single game. 55. Who's doing that? Only one guy. And then we got everything else. So the guy had to have his own condoms made because he was with 20,000 different women. So
On a
give
bad week.
I give everything else a possible rest, and it's just incredible what he was able to do. But I do want to point out one thing as far as what you're used to seeing and how you're used to seeing it. In 1950, the AP did top athletes for the first 50 years of the 20th century. In that list, Babe Ruth was second, and he was behind, guess who?
Wilt Chamberlain.
Jim Thorpe.
Jim Thorpe. I was saying it could be Wilt Chamberlain. He
Jim
just wasn't
Thorpe, a redskin by his own accolades, who went to Pennsylvania and became
played everything.
he became an Olympic athlete. He became unstoppable in every sport. But my point for you is this: in 2000, ESPN did top athletes of the whole century. Guess where Babe Ruth ended up? He was still second. So Babe
Second.
Ruth, he was second in 1950, and he was second in 2000.
Who was number one?
And on that list, it was Jordan. But if you're looking at a list and people who watched these guys play, Jim Thorpe received 252 of a possible 393 first-place votes in 1950. Somehow, after not playing for 50 years and everybody who got to watch him dying, he fell to 7th on the list.
Jim Thorpe did.
But that's only because of the way we love and fall in love with things. It's not because Babe Ruth was that much better than everybody. We just still love Babe Ruth because he's Babe Ruth. So
One of the
lists-
greatest
lists are
baseball
all-
players of all times.
Right, but at this point, we can say
Again, generational thing.
No Hispanics, no African Americans, no this. No,
That's why Jordan always says you cannot compare generations. You can't. Like, it was a different era. It was a different
Absolutely.
style of play. It was a different
Absolutely it was.
everything. You cannot compare one person to the next, and it's impossible to do. We can speculate and say, all right, it would be fun to play this person in their prime. It'd be fun to play this person, but you can't do it at the end of the day. That's why you can't compare generations.
So basically, we're all right in our own minds
But correct.
because we can't compare generations.
I
right?
always like to say, I'm a legend in my own mind. man.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm a legend. There's nobody that can touch me.
Well,
in my, own
my
mind,
nickname
man.
in high school was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Jabbird.
Jabbar.
Jabbar.
That's what everybody called me. So Jabbar.
I think ETI has a point he'd like to make.
To answer the question about Kobe scoring 60 plus, he had 4 consecutive games of 50 plus and 9 consecutive games of 40 plus, but he
But
only
not
scored
60 plus.
60 plus 6 times, and they were not consecutive.
I knew he came close, man.
ATI.
Thank you, man.
The man, the myth,
Thank
the
you,
legend.
Thank you. All right.
All right. So we got one vote. I'm assuming you're saying Wilt Chamberlain's the greatest.
I am, but there's just so many stats, and I haven't even it's just crazy how much better he is than the rest of the world, and that's really what it comes down to me.
Okay. And 6 championships is enough for me. With the supporting cast, I got to go Jordan.
As a Knicks fan, it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart to the core. But I have to say Jordan.
All right.
I do.
And here's just one quick breakdown on scoring as far as who did what. Most career regular season 60-point games. Wilt had 32. Second place all time, Kobe with 6. NBA record, most career games of 50 points in a season. Wilt had 118. Michael Jordan is second with 31. I mean, no
Wilt
matter
was
where
in a
he-
class by himself.
and they had to change the rules for him. And once again, that whole 2.3 women a day from age 14 through,
Three women.
I will say,
Yeah, that's-
Magic
that's
Johnson
a good
probably gave
sports
him
fact.
some comp.
well,
Magic Johnson gave him some comp on that one,
and
man.
in some of the research I was doing today, when Wilt came out with his book where he told everybody he had been
Named
with 20,000. Well, he didn't name names. He's just said, I've been with 20,000 of them. It was during the same month that Magic came out and announced he had
Said he
AIDS.
had AIDS. Yes, that's
And
right.
So,
Yeah, I remember
so
that.
The backlash, it was, people were like in awe of this and then were condemning Wilt. And Wilt said, hey, that's just who I am. I like the ladies. It wasn't because I was lonely and, I just enjoyed what I was doing.
Yep.
Can't be mad at it. You're right.
All right,
Wait,
so-
the golf clap.
Yeah. So real quick, let's move on to the Hawks. I can understand Robert's argument, but the Hawks year after year, I've tried to be a fan, and they're a 500 team. They always have been. They will be. They have spurts like they had when they made it to the Eastern Finals.
Finals.
But
Question is, will they get back? Will they ever get back?
how do you get back? It's very tough unless you just start over and
They need
start
a-
over
they
and
need a
start over, and they
bench.
always wind up at 500.
They need a bench. They need a backup big man. I will applaud the Hawks because they have Trae Young, hell of a player, and they have you guys help me out here. His backcourt mate from the Spurs. I forgot his name.
Oh,
Not Hunter. He's from Virginia.
no.
The
The
starting.
guy
yeah,
we just got this year.
yeah, the guy we just got. He's
I'm sorry,
excellent.
I'm
Blends
looking up-
well
I'm-
with him, but I just forgot his name.
I'm looking up
Hunter.
other
No,
stats.
what is his
No,
name?
it's
What's-
Murray.
Murray. Yes,
yeah.
Murray.
DeJounte.
Murray. Hell of a player. Those two together are going to do some damage. My worry is it's going to be another Dame Lillard and C.J. McCollum.
Well,
But
It-
Atlanta
it's-
would take that.
yeah, they would. You know what? Atlanta would take everybody healthy because Capella missed 10 games. Young missed because he was hurt. Said he was sick or whatever. When they play together, okay, they won 4 straight. Now they've lost 2 straight again. But they're right at 500. Is that where they're going to wind up? They're just a middle of the road team.
Hey, I'm happy my Knicks are above them.
At the end of the day, it's all about jockeying for position and home field advantage for a couple different rounds
Or
in the
home
playoffs.
court.
Yeah. I don't know. Home
all that.
court is that might be overrated. I mean, you look
can
at
be.
Aaron,
It
you
can
look
be.
at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had home court for years, and he just
No,
lost.
he had home field.
Home field.
Home court's basketball, home field.
Tomato.
Yeah, all right.
You
At,
get
the,
what I'm
at the
trying
end
to
of the
say.
day, I'll say this for the Hawks. They've gotten back to 500. So Chuck gets to breathe a little bit easier. Can't condemn them so much. But at the end of the day, and this is something that's always struck me, it's a black and white thing. In the NBA, that is predominantly African American, in a city that is beloved by so many. It's the hip hop capital of this. Why can't a single free agent ever come to our city.
I-
Because nobody's ever we've
You know
never
what?
been able to
You know
wow
what?
somebody.
I think I know the answer to that question. You're going to be shocked at this.
Go
I had
ahead.
a friend of mine that had contacts at ESPN, and he told me the answer to this question is no. Free agents want to come to Atlanta because the women get them in trouble.
Women get you in trouble wherever
That-
you
I'm
are.
just telling you what I heard, Alvin. I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying that's why that the women are too pretty in Atlanta,
And
and that's
hopefully-
why free agents don't want to come here.
And hopefully
Dion
DeJounte
started it.
Hey,
Dion, boy.
hopefully DeJounte Murray is a sign of things to come. But I know in years past where, it's like, wait, we have cap space, so we have the money we can give somebody. Here's no. Okay.
Yeah, it's,
So let's-
it's the curse of just Atlanta.
Curse of
man.
Atlanta.
It's the curse of
All
Atlanta.
right. Well,
the
let's-
Yankees had your number for a lot of years, and you
Stop
broke
it.
it for a
There's
minute.
95.
and-
There are no Larrett
No.
mentions on
No,
this
no
show.
baseball today. All right, so let's move on to some college basketball. One of the
right.
things we would come up with was our top four. We know ATI is a thrilled guy because Purdue is back on top, number one in the AP polls, and rightly so. I watched them play against Maryland the other day. As ATI told me, great first half, not so good the second half. But good things going on up in Purdue. But March Madness is just around the corner. So who
It's
you got?
coming.
Who you got in the one seeds?
I mean, it's kind of early to be talking one seed. I still think North Carolina is a viable option. I think
No.
Tennessee is the reason why I say North Carolina. They brought their entire squad back.
But they're not even in the
They're-
top 25.
Hey, regular season, they're just getting to know.
Well, we're not saying
they're
they couldn't
just
go on a
getting-
run, but just
Yeah.
a one seed.
What
Yeah.
about Tennessee?
Tennessee,
They got a shot.
they do have a shot because between Tennessee and Alabama, you figure somebody's going to come out of the SEC looking decent.
Yeah.
Houston,
I've got Alabama coming out of the Southeast.
okay,
I've got Houston. I've got Purdue.
bingo.
And I know you think you know who I think my fourth one is, but you're wrong. It's not Kansas.
No, I wouldn't think Kansas. I think you're done with them.
I think UCLA is probably going to get
Yeah,
the fourth
yeah.
one seed.
Yeah, I can understand. I just still think North Carolina, just for the simple fact that they have a hell of a coach, and they brought their entire squad back. Familiarity.
It's done them no good so far.
I like
It's still early.
Purdue looks really good. Only having that one loss, they lost that game to Rutgers, and since that game, they've rattled off 6 straight. Now, in that 6 straight, they won 1 by 1, 1 by 2, and 1 by 3. So they've been pretty close. But they're playing in Ann Arbor tomorrow night, and that's their only matchup against Michigan. Michigan might not be much, but you win this game and you start to distance yourself even more from the rest of the group. And yeah, I don't know what I think out west though. I think probably Alabama, Houston, Purdue, and something out west. Could be Arizona. Arizona's moving up in the.
Gonzaga
I
could
hear you
still
on
be-
Arizona. I do. I'm with you. I second that motion on Arizona.
All right. So, yeah, you going to Arizona? I mean,
Going to
like
Arizona.
Albert said, we're way off, but it's at least something to tempting. And I ask it only because this school right across the street, Kennesaw State, is playing basketball. These guys are 15-6.
Have they ever won 15 games in a Division I season before, Chuck?
Nope.
Thank you.
They set a record this year, and they won 2
With a
very
lot to
tough.
play.
Yeah, they won 2 tough road games, and college basketball winning on the road is not as easy as it is in the pros. Because you got a lot more fan participation in college, and they won 2 tough games at Stetson and at Florida Gulf Coast, 1 by 1 and 1 by 2, and they led heavily in both games. They were up by 18 at one point in the Stetson game and came back and fell behind and came back and won by 1. Same thing at Florida Gulf Coast. They were up by 12 or 13 and lead fell, and they wound up winning, I think, in overtime
Correct.
against Florida Gulf
And
Coast.
they were actually down by like 9 in overtime. It was
Yeah,
a
and they
great
storm
comeback.
back and win. So this is a good basketball team. If you live in the Kennesaw area, you need to get out and watch these guys play. And we'll talk about them on our 7 o'clock show where we talk all about Kennesaw State sports. But they're big enough now that they need to be talked about on this show. And they're a good club. They play a doubleheader. The women's and men play tomorrow night at 5 and 7:30, and they do the same thing on Saturday. I think they play at 2 and at 7 or something like that. But get out and watch these KSU Owls. I got on the blue shirt supporting the girls team today. But Blue's the coach, and Octavia Blue. Great basketball going on at KSU. I would love to see everybody get it. I would love to see them go to the dance. Right now, the ASUN automatic qualifier, Joe Lenardi in his bracketology has it as Liberty. But Liberty and Kennesaw are tied at the top. So we'll see what happens.
I will say that you have to hope. Hope is the evidence of things not seen.
Go Owls.
So
That's all I can say is go Owls.
You have to hope.
All right.
You have to hope.
Robert, let's get in a commercial. You got something to say before we get
Just one real quick thing on the Owls. We've been discussing that the ASUN tournament is actually held at the home courts of the higher seed. So unlike all of these other tournaments where, you're going to Dayton or you're going to Raleigh and you hope your fans are going to come, if these Owls keep winning, they're run to the tournaments right across the street. And if ever there's something that, is tangible, you start go to a game next week and then come back in a month and a half and make a difference in the conference tournament. That could be big.
And while Robert's pulling up our Bearcat Express commercial, I'll tell you, on the 11th of February, it is Owls Alumni Day. And you can go see both games for $8, the women and the men's. So I'm good to go. I go to as many games as I can, but that's going to be a fun day.
It's $8 per ticket?
$8 a ticket.
So why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? Live breaking news on this show only.
Right here.
I tried to do a drum roll.
Let's sponsor 3 people to go to that game. On me.
On you?
On me.
Done deal.
Let's sponsor
If
3
you want
people.
to go to KSU
Let's
ball
sponsor
game, let's
3
go.
people.
Absolutely.
3 people. I don't know how. I don't
Somebody's
know the
already
logistics
texting.
on
Somebody's
that.
already texting in. So.
I don't
I
know
think
the
that's Maynard T.
logistics
Krebs.
on
He's
that,
just
but
very
let's
excited.
sponsor 3 people to go to that game just as a supportive thing.
All right. Well, we appreciate that, Alvin.
All right.
All right. Let's do our Bearcat commercial and get it out of the way.
Do you need a delivery right now? As in go now, please? Bearcat Express has expedited shipping on hand-carried items, car, van, or pickup. Whether it's from Memphis to Augusta, Dothan to Charlotte, or even just Athens to Atlanta and all points in between, we've got the drivers to get your stuff where it needs to be. Whether your passport's still on the dresser, your 7-iron isn't in your bag, or you have a dog that hates to fly, Bearcat Express with their live tracking capabilities is the team to turn to. We are the go-to courier in the Southeast U.S. Check us out at BearcatExpress.com.
And we want to thank Blair Cook for his continuing support of Three Guys Who Love Sports. Robert's sporting your shirt today,
Donning the attire.
donning the attire, and he also supports the live breaking news. I don't care. I love that shirt. But he also supports the Owl Show that we do at 7 o'clock. So, Blair Cook, greatly appreciate you, buddy. All right, let's move on to football. Talk a little college football. Cormani McClain. How many of you know who he is? Did you have to look him up, Robert, or did you know who it was?
I looked him up.
Did you?
Chuck sends a name over on a. Did this guy make a right decision? Heck, I don't know. Who is he? What decision did he make?
There you go. Do you know who he is? Cormani McClain is the number 1 cornerback in the country
For high school.
for high school.
Is that the one that just went to Colorado
That is correct.
with Deion Sanders?
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Okay. All
so
right.
he was
All right.
originally.
Would you agree that he made the correct decision then?
Anybody that follows Deion Sanders, because Deion Sanders to me is the greatest cornerback of all times, of all times. Of all time.
I might have to agree with that.
I love sitting below the Dion side. If he was anything
Yeah.
else but a cornerback, we could have an argument. But if you want to go play for a coach who just so happens to be the greatest cornerback of all time, how could that be a bad thing?
And he took him from Miami, didn't he? I was about to say he took him from Miami. So yeah, that's Deion is about to make waves in college football.
Is he going to make waves?
Yes.
Yeah. So Jackson
Yes.
State, he was very
He
successful.
was very successful, and
And
now
now
he
he's at
has the
Colorado.
resources. He has the resources now behind him to.
Are they Pac-12 or are they Mountain West? They're Pac-12, right?
Pac.
Yeah. So
One win last year, 1-11.
1-11.
And watch what he does this year. Watch.
And I've already got a couple small wagers on it because as every time I say, just calm down, he's got to get there first. No, he's going to dominate right off the bat. Well, We'll find out. I love him though. I do
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah,
I like
just like
Deion,
his
too.
energy. I like his energy. I like his confidence. I just like everything about Deion.
It's like a no nonsense, you
Yeah.
know, where all the other coaches are telling you what you want to hear and what your grandma wants to hear, and
He's
Deion's
gonna
just
tell you the truth.
Deion's just telling you the way it is.
Deion's going to tell you the way he feels.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it. All right. So, so Colorado's your sleeper team of 23 already, Robert?
I'm not
No.
gonna say. Oh,
No,
no, I'm not
No.
gonna say sleeper team, but they're gonna make. They were what 1-11 last year.
They'll
One of
win
the-
more than one game. Is that what you're saying?
I'm thinking they're gonna give the
Steve,
Beavers,
I feel a bet coming on
and the Sun Devils a tougher game this year.
this year. Who did they beat? for
They'll
their
make.
1-11?
They'll win 8 games.
ATI. Who did
They'll win
Colorado beat this year?
No, I have no idea.
Huh? Oh, Cal. Oh, okay.
Cal.
That
No,
might be
I
right.
have a new nickname for him. That's Sleepy Hembo.
Sleepy Hambo.
That's Sleepy Hembo.
No,
right there.
he's ATI.
That's ATI.
Adam the intern. He'll always be ATI. Robert's looking it up now.
Yep, beat Cal by 7
They
at
beat
home.
Cal by 7 at home.
Okay.
That's why ATI. We're going to start a new segment on the show next week called Ask ATI, and we'll get into that a little bit. So that's cool.
All right.
So other big news in college football, Bama lost Bill O'Brien to
Mm-hmm.
the New England Patriots, moving back up. He's been on the staff before at New England, and he's back.
That
Does
is
it-
an excellent move.
Does that hurt Alabama? Does it help Alabama?
It hurts Alabama, but it helps New England. It helps New England in a huge way because they were lacking.
Well, because they had a
on
defensive
offense.
coordinator who tried to
Yeah.
play offensive coordinator
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Hey, isn't it weird? Who's the guy who went to Denver and is now the Raiders coach? What's the Raiders
Went
coach?
to Denver. Raiders
Mc-
coach Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, Josh
so,
McDaniels.
so he was from New England, screwed up, went back. The coach, the defensive coordinator, went to the Lions, screwed up, went
Went
back.
back.
So who hasn't
That
been?
coach.
Who hasn't gone back? They all go back.
But who
that's
hasn't
true.
been? Who hasn't been offensive coordinator at Alabama? Bill O'Brien,
you know,
Steve Sarkisian, right? Wasn't he there?
So absolutely.
They just keep filling.
Volumes.
They just keep filling the hole. So does it really matter who Alabama has
It
as their
does-
offensive coordinator?
It will
That's what
sooner
New
or
England
later.
said, though.
It
That's-
will sooner or later because when you think of how difficult it is to be on top of the mountain, and I know Georgia's got back to backs, but Saban ain't far from that peak right now. And every year he loses 2 or 3 coaches, and he just keeps replacing them without a hiccup. Sooner or later, you're going to get a hiccup.
Is
And
it-
that's
Sooner or later.
Kirby's probably now in that boat now because he loses Lanning last year, and he lost somebody this year.
In one small difference, Kirby's still running a little bit slower of an offense than Nick
Than
is.
Nick is,
So it's probably easier to fill some of those roles than it is
For Alabama.
That's why Bill Belichick and Nick Saban are good friends. Bill Belichick has run the NFL for a lot of years, and he lost a lot of coaches. And unfortunately, his coaching tree is not really that good in terms of success because all he does is win, and he feels like he can replace everybody. But again, this year he felt the pain.
But you know
He
what?
felt the pain, and Nick Saban is going to feel the pain eventually, and that's the shoes that he's falling into right now.
Well, there's only one assistant of Nick Saban that's ever gone back and beat Nick, and now
Georgia.
he's done it twice.
Georgia.
Kirby Smart, right?
Georgia
No, it's
coach,
actually
yeah.
happened a couple times now.
Has it?
Who?
Yeah,
Who
because
else?
Jimbo.
Oh, that's right. Jimbo did it at Texas A&M.
Jimbo did it for
But
the first time.
Not consistently, though.
Yeah.
No, but nobody had ever done it.
Yeah.
As of 2 years ago, Nick was like 19-0 versus his old
Former
assistant.
assistants, yeah.
But he's unbelievable. They're so good. Yes, they're going to have problem with the coaching, but if they keep winning recruiting day,
Yeah.
does it matter? I mean, Chuck
Yeah.
might be able to call some plays
Yeah.
if he's got the best offensive line, the best running back, the best fullback, the best tight end.
I mean, that goes to the
I don't know if I'd go that
Zen
far.
master right there.
Yeah.
The Zen master has the best talent, and
Yep.
he just has to. He keeps getting the best talent, so therefore he's going to keep winning.
All right. So next week on the show, we're going to talk about this past year's NFL draft and how the teams did that drafted the 10 that we picked, and who succeeded as a rookie and who did not succeed as a rookie. The most successful rookie and the least successful rookie. So that'll be a fun conversation next week. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Robert, look like you got something to say.
I do. Just one more little thing on college before we go any further. Did you hear about Jaden Rashada this week?
Yeah, he lost his NIL money at Florida.
But
$13 million.
Here's a guy who was promised $13 million over a 4-year span. You know, going back to NIL, and is it, what's the end of the earth? And I don't know, but man, this is crazy.
It is crazy. Now, did he wind up going back to Miami? Is that where he was?
He has not gone anywhere.
He has
just
not
yet.
confirmed?
He just said the check's going to bounce if I go to Gainesville. so I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see.
All right, yeah. So we'll follow the Rashada story and see what goes on that. We love football, so it's going to be hard for us not to talk some football all throughout the year. But we'll see what's going on. All right, let's move on to the pros. And we know Alvin, our man here, is a big Giants fan. 4 teams got kicked out this weekend. What are the chances that they're going back? The Giants, the Jaguars, and who are the other two that got beat? The Bills, and ATI's former team, the Dallas Cowboys.
It's hard to support the Cowboys because those fans are just so. Cowboy fans are just
There's one of them right there.
Delusional, man. They really are, man. I have a couple of good friends that are Cowboy fans, man, and they're part of my division. So I'm a big division fan, so I always support the NFC East. But it's like Cowboys fans are just in a different class.
Tell me about the Giants.
Now, the Giants, they exceeded all expectations this year.
So,
I had 0 expectations for them making the playoffs, and they exceeded. Now, the one thing I will say about the Giants, they always get it right with coaching. And that's what the Cowboy fans lack all the time, coaching.
Cowboys lack a quarterback.
Well, they also lack a little bit of a coach. I brought this picture. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that. That's Mike McCarthy leaving
sticking
the
his
field.
hand in the camera's fan.
And I understand. Well, it's a tough game, and you get paid millions and millions of dollars for a guy to take your picture. You're walking off like you're Zsa Zsa Gabor. Get ready for the criticism to start.
I will say, if the Dallas Cowboys get Sean Payton, I will have to bow down to Cowboy fans.
Good Lord.
I really would. If Sean Payton goes
Clearly,
to Dallas,
he's not a real Giants fan because I don't think a real Giants fan could say that. Are you a Daniel Jones guy? Is he your answer going forward?
I think Daniel Jones is the answer.
I don't have a choice.
Well, you
I
do.
don't have
you
a
can
You
always
could be
choice.
like the New York Jets and draft a quarterback every year.
I don't have a choice, so I have to ride out. And the reason why I say that is because our current coach, which is a rock star, found a way to utilize Daniel Jones' talents
His legs.
and figure out a way to make it work. So do I think the Giants will make the playoffs next year? I hope like hell they'll make the playoffs. But again, we made the playoffs this year, so we're going to have a tougher schedule next
true.
year.
Saquon's an unrestricted free agent, too.
He's
right?
an unrestricted, and I hope we bring back Saquon. And the problem with Saquon is, like I always said it, even when we were in our heyday this year of this season, if you stop Saquon, the Giants don't have an answer.
There's no answer because
We
they
have
no
no
wide
answer.
receivers.
We don't. We've been hurt on the wide receiver front. We've been hurt on a lot of different things. Saquon has been the constant this year, and that's the reason why. Now, do I think he needs to reset the market with getting paid? Hell no. Hell no. He needs to get $12 million, $13 million, somewhere along those lines, and concentrate on the offensive line and get more people on the defensive line.
So you say they are going back next year?
I would hope like hell they're going to go back.
I would say with Saquon they go back. Without Saquon they don't.
Oh,
and I'll
obvious.
say this. At this point, if you pay Saquon, your team is going to suffer because anytime you pay a 5-year-old running back top money for what he's done for you in the past, you end up suffering in the future.
I agree with that. I agree with
He
that.
just can't reset the market.
So you're a yes or a no?
Oh, I thought the Giants were awful all year. I still don't like Daniel Jones. Although he's had no help and Saquon, if they pay him, like I said, who else is getting paid? So, no, I don't like the Giants in the future.
Okay. Cowboys, back next year or not back here?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. The Cowgirls will make it back to
You
the
can say yes?
I think so because of their defense.
Yeah.
I'll say no, and I'll tell you the reason I think the Cowboys aren't going back. They're going to lose Kellen Moore, their offensive coordinator. He's
He looks
interviewing
really
with Carolina. I think he's going to be the coach there. Dan Quinn is Danny Boy is interviewing with a couple of teams. I think he had his second interview today with Arizona. If they lose their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator, the defense will go away. It won't go away, but it won't be as strong as it was this year.
But also their start, not Ezekiel Elliott, but Tony Pollard is a free agent this year.
Broken leg, though. We'll see what happens.
Broken leg or not.
At the end of
He's
the day,
still
I
good.
keep hearing about Danny Quinn is on the short list. And I just want to ask you, the short list for what? Did you guys not watch what he did in Atlanta for the last 6 years?
Yeah.
The idea that somebody's going to put him in charge. I'm okay with you putting him
But so many-
in charge of your defense where you don't let him talk to the camera and just let him do his thing. He's proven he's pretty good at that.
But so many professional professional coaches get regenerated. McCarthy was in Packers. He failed there. He got a one ring, but he failed, and now he's back in Dallas. They're going to regenerate, right?
Question from the studio audience.
McCarthy won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Not because
but-
of his coaching skills.
But, there's a lot of different things where you say, well, this guy's going to get another chance. What did Dan Quinn do? What after you watch Shanahan leave the team and you watch those next years and you heard the new quote of the day every Monday morning, well, we're going to have to load the wagon better than we did. We're going to have to go shopping for groceries. Whatever he came up with.
That's a Bill Parcells statement. Giants coach. Just
well,
throw that out.
they're all disciples.
All right.
But
Parcells, Belichick, Saban.
So Alvin's a yes. I'm a no for the Cowboys.
Their defense is too good
Yeah.
for them not to make the playoffs.
as much as I want to say it, the Cowboys,
Because-
I hate to say it.
Because they do
but
get to
they
play
are
the
gonna
Giants
do
and the
it.
Commanders twice. So
All
there's
right.
4 games for
All
that
right, so let's
defense.
move on to
Now,
the other two teams that we haven't
Eagles are
discussed
gonna-
yet.
The Eagles are going to win it.
How about
Bills, yes.
the Bills?
Yes.
The Bills just suffered too many injuries on defense
Von Miller.
this year.
Von Miller.
Not just Von
Yes,
Miller,
Von
everybody
Miller.
in the back. They started so many different backs this year, and it was fill in, next man up, and eventually you run out of next man up. I think I read something that everybody thought that their running game was lacking. I don't think it was that bad off. I mean, they had some good rushing games, but they said they only had one receiver, and Stephon Diggs. He doesn't like to lose. I like that. But they had Cole Beasley back. Dawson Knox is a great tight end. So they've got some pieces. I see Buffalo going back not only this year, but year after year after year after year, as long as Josh Allen's in the seat.
I have two questions. One, I just want to hear from the studio audience. Where is Sean Payton going is my first question. Let's do that. Where is Sean Payton going as
He's a loser.
head
I
coach?
don't care.
Really?
Yeah, he threw another dig at the Falcons when, the Falcons just lost another playoff game when the Chiefs and Bills didn't show up. I hope Sean Payton goes to Denver and he sits out in Mile High Stadium with no draft picks and a really old Russell Wilson and just kind of turns into Yoda in the end of his life.
Yeah,
Just
I don't think he'll go there. I think he's too smart to go to Denver.
I thought so, but he seems dumber and dumber every time I hear him.
So
Yeah,
where would
there you
you
go.
say Sean Payton is going?
I think he ought to stay in the booth, but he might go coach somewhere. He might go back to New Orleans. I don't know.
He
he's
ain't going
definitely
there.
not going.
He ain't
Yeah.
going there.
Now let's explore if he goes
Well,
to
let's
Denver.
finish our
Yeah,
finish our topic first. All right.
So let me ask you this: you were talking about the Bills and all these good players. Did you see what Diggs did right after the game with his Twitter rant?
No.
So at 5:44, which was like 4 minutes after the game, he tweeted, "Want me to be okay with losing?"
No.
And then at 5:45, 1 minute later, he said, "Want me to be okay with our level of play when it's not up to the standard?"
No.
And then 1 minute later, it's easy to criticize my reaction more than the result. And I understand, I don't understand because I'm not a world-class athlete, don't claim to be. But at the end of the day, Don't you want this guy hanging out with his teammates and talking to his teammates instead of sitting in his locker room
On Twitter?
posting tweets about me, 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 me? You know, Buffalo needs a running game, and they have to have another wide receiver to complement Diggs. But after this, I'm not sure how long Diggs is good for there because that's an old school city.
That's true.
Where's
That's true.
Odell Beckham going?
He can't even run, so
He
we're
can't even run.
you know we don't know.
But
about
you
him
look,
right
but
now.
in terms about making the playoffs, I don't think Tua is ever going to play again. I think he
Really?
needs to give it up. I just for his health, I think he needs to give it up. Yeah,
I think he's retiring at the end of this year.
I don't. I think somebody's going to ask him to retire. I just, if I loved him, I wouldn't let him play again. You know.
So that means Lamar might be going to
Or
Miami.
Tom.
I don't know,
Or Tom. Yeah.
but
High five on that one.
No,
Pound on
But
that one. All
I
right,
don't think
Tom
Jones
Brady.
is the answer in New England, and the Jets can't find a quarterback. So I don't think anybody else is going to beat the Bills in that division for a while. So that's why I think the Bills will go back time and time again.
what do you think about the Jags?
The Jaguars are the last team on the thing. I think they're on the upswing. I really like what the Jags are doing. I love Peterson. I think he's a great coach. I think Trevor Lawrence played 10 times better this year than he did in his first year. I love Travis Etienne. They got Kirk. They got Evan Ingram. They've got some good pieces together in Jacksonville. And again, you go back to that division. You got the Colts. You got the Texans. And you got the Titans. Only thing happening in that league is Derrick Henry. So I think Jacksonville's got the lead on all of those three teams, and I think they'll be back in the playoffs next year.
I got a shocker. Talk to me about Cleveland. Talk to me about Cleveland.
You know,
Is
Cleveland-
Cleveland making
Cleveland's
the
not in
playoff
that
next year?
division.
Deshaun
No, I
Watson
know.
did not look like Deshaun Watson of old. We'll see next year starting out if he can get his legs back under him and everything else. But, you know, I'll say this about the AFC South. It is a pretty poor-looking division, but the Bears are going to screw up the first pick of the draft. We all know that, right? Which means most likely Bryce is going to fall to Houston. So all of a sudden, Houston's going to have the best young quarterback in the
Houston
league.
is a dysfunction. I mean,
Indy
Are
only
they going to
needs
wind
a
up?
quarterback.
But are they going to wind up the same
Houston.
way as Trevor Lawrence did in Jacksonville? They're going to have a year where they don't, or was that an Urban Meyer thing where
That was an
Urban
Urban-
Meyer can't coach?
That's correct.
Yeah. So
Urban Meyer was such a
and who's going?
distraction.
Yeah. So that might be a shot. That might be a spot for Peyton, if he thinks, wow. Chicago's not going to take anybody over Justin Fields, or they're going to trade Justin Fields.
That
One of
would
the
be a
two.
smart move.
Yeah.
That would be a
I
smart
mean,
move.
so if he went to Houston, they've got some pieces.
you saying Sean Payton to Houston?
Yeah.
He's going to have the number 2 pick,
He's gonna
and the
have the number
Bears are
2
going to
pick,
screw it
and the
up.
Bears
so
are
he
gonna
gets to
screw
pick
it
his
up.
quarterback. And
Well, they're not going to.
That's- that'd be-
Houston
They're not
is
gonna
just a dysfunctional organization, man.
But even if
It
the
is.
Bears don't take the pick,
No.
I mean, even if they can't screw it up, if they pick a quarterback, they might be screwing it up because they have to give up Justin Fields. I think he is the answer. And I'd like to get Bill Sterrett's thought on that. Buddy of mine that's a big Chicago Bears fan.
But, I mean, you also have to look at San Francisco. I mean, if this quarterback takes them to – I don't think they're going to beat the Eagles. I'm going to be on record. I don't think they're going to beat them. But if they do beat them, they have to make some serious decisions
But
on
even-
Justin Fields. I mean, on their quarterback.
But even if they lose to Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game and you started Mr. Irrelevant and he went 8 or 9-0 for you to end the year,
How can you go anywhere
I think
else?
those conversations are going to happen anyway.
So what are you
Garop-
going to do with
Garoppolo will probably be
he's gone.
in a Falcons jersey.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how that one's going to look.
All
And
right.
Trey
And then-
Lance goes,
and
was
then-
he the
Where you
backup?
going, Trey
Well,
Lance?
Trey, those are your two guys, and you know one of them's Steady Eddie, and you know, and one of them's a Ferrari who
Yeah.
hasn't run.
So
yet.
what are you
comics
going to
on
get
fire.
for him? What
Oh no, they
compensation
they
are you
will
going to get for him?
they will not get rid of him.
They won't get rid of
Because-
him.
Then you got to start him then.
Well, but
They-
you got to remember one thing, and I say this all the time. I've been saying it longer than we've had a show. The most successful Pete Carroll ever was when Russell Wilson wasn't getting paid and he was on a rookie contract. So if ever there's something Mike Shanahan's or not Mike Shanahan, sorry, Mike Shanahan's son Kyle. If there's one thing he's not going to do is get rid of 2 quarterbacks who are on rookie salaries.
Yeah.
He's going to keep those.
Lance, Lance and Purdy are there for the long haul.
Absolutely.
But Garoppolo may be in a Falcons uniform.
Yeah, Garoppolo is gone. He's
Yeah.
gone.
And we'll
but
get
he
into
showed
that
that
later.
he can still play though, which is the good thing. But I'm just curious to see what they're gonna do with these two quarterbacks. I don't know. I really don't know, and I don't see one of them playing backup to the other.
They have to because they're rookies and they have no say.
They have
in
no
it.
they have no say in it. So let's do our Marty's Image commercial, and then we'll move into our picks for this weekend.
All right.
Modern Image is a locally owned document and photograph scanning company that helps clients secure and use paper files and photos. Whether it's important business files or sentimental family photos and videos, Modern Image is dedicated to helping clients solve problems around paper.
Go Dogs.
Thank you, Chuck.
All right. So let's move into these picks for this weekend. We got two big games. There's only 3 games left in football. That's very difficult for me to swallow. I love football so much. But our first game is the Niners at Philadelphia.
Philly.
And the Niners are laying the Phillies are laying 2.5.
Philly, I'm going division all day long.
Yep. That's good. I like a man that supports his squad. I don't know. Let's take a little bit about Jalen Hurts. Is he 100% healthy? If he is, I like the Eagles. If he's not, man, San Francisco's doing so many good things.
They are.
They shut down Dallas. They shut down. I know they had one touchdown, right?
Correct.
And their field goal kicker actually kicked 2 field goals. So I felt very good for him. But they had the other extra point blocked, right, on their first touchdown. Yeah. So that's there's too many. Robert talked earlier about the tools that San Francisco has with Ayuk and
Kittle and
Kittle
Debo
and Debo
McCaffrey.
and McCaffrey and even Purdy. He's playing. You know what? I don't think he's playing to win. He's not playing. He's playing not to lose, and he's not doing anything wrong. He's not turning the ball over. And for a rookie quarterback to play as well as he has in the 7 games that he has won, he is 7-0 as a professional. They got as good a shot as anybody to win this game. And Robert and I both picked San Francisco and Buffalo
That's correct.
to be in it, so I can't change my pick. I've got to stay with San Francisco.
I agree with you on that, but Philadelphia has a better offensive line, has a better defensive line, has a better all-around team than San Francisco.
They've got a lot of talent in Philadelphia. There's no doubt about it. I don't know. I just, at the end of the day, I look at San Francisco and you don't think they can keep going, but they do keep going. And I picked against the Eagles last week because I based it off of the Week 18 game where Hurts didn't look that healthy.
And
No,
Daniel Jones did.
Hurts looked pretty healthy, and
Yeah.
they're pretty darn good when he's healthy.
A.J. Brown. Yeah.
I don't know. At the end of the day, Robbie Gould is 8 for 8 in field goals. They're running him out there. San Francisco's just bringing him out every chance they get, and he's shredding the nets. So, it's gonna be a fun game. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a really fun game.
Who's
So
your
you're the
pick?
you're the
Who's your
deciding
pick?
vote, Robert.
Who's your pick?
I'm going Niners.
So you're
Ooh.
sticking with your pick. Well, we both picked the Niners for a long time to be in the NFC
I do want to,
champs.
for a future conversation, I can't wait to have one on Jalen Hurts. When you think about this kid, he's like a running quarterback in high school. He comes to Alabama. Alabama was still a running team when he came there. He won. And then they switched quarterbacks on him. Okay, now we're a passing offense. You're not that guy anymore.
I'm
okay,
going to Oklahoma.
Well, no, he came back. He took over for Tua.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And won a championship throwing the ball. And then he followed when Riley went to Oklahoma. And this is the guy's like
He's
fifth
been through
offense
adversity.
in 7 years. And every time you don't think he's got it, he's got it.
He got it.
He
Don't
keeps
count him
coming
out.
through. No, you definitely don't want to count him out.
Been through
Ever
adversity.
again.
All right.
He's been through adversity.
And the other game, I was a little surprised to see the spread on this game. Cincinnati laying 2.5 at Kansas City.
The game
Kansas
started
City.
out as KC by 1. So if you know anything about Vegas at home, kids, if the game starts at 1 and we're already to 2.5, that means the
That's a
spread's
lot of
moved
money going down
3.5
on Cincinnati.
3.5 points moving that spread. That is a big number. That tells me somebody thinks Mahomes is hurt.
Well, and I just saw something as we were preparing for the show today that he ran full tilt at practice today. But I don't know. A high ankle sprain, I've been there. That's a tough thing to get over. Playing basketball, it's almost impossible. Football, I mean, I guess they could shoot him up and put him in a brace or whatever.
Absolutely.
But
shooting people up for a long time.
But he's going to play. And
He's definitely playing.
And, boy, to me, of all the games we picked all year, this is the toughest game for me to pick. I mean, Joe Cool is 3-0 against Kansas City.
And no matter who his opponent is, he's freaking cool. I mean, you think, oh, this moment's going to be big. He has no offensive lineman. It doesn't matter. He went to the Super Bowl last year without any offensive lineman. What's to say he's going to stop from doing it again?
If I have to give my little 2 cents here, it makes all the sense in the world because Joe Burrows is 3-0 against him. I still think it goes back to coaching. You have to respect Andy Reid.
Oh, yeah.
Have to. Regardless if Patrick Mahomes is hurt with a high ankle sprain, he is still going to come out there and play. He still has a chip on his shoulder. Tyreek Hill is gone. He still made a difference. He has a diversity of wide receivers that are going to make a difference. Kansas City has a chip on his shoulder. And my pick, live breaking news, I don't care. Kansas City is winning.
Okay. I would have said last week if Cincinnati beat Buffalo by a little bit, I would probably go ahead and pick Kansas City. But they dominated Buffalo.
They whipped them.
They dominated them on the offensive line and on the defensive line. They controlled the line of scrimmage in that ball game. And I seen them do the same thing in Kansas City. They beat Kansas City last year in Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl. And I don't see anything changing. As much as I'd like to take Kansas City, I like Kansas City. My kicker, Harrison Butker from Georgia Tech, is on Kansas City. But from a neutral perspective, I've got to take the Bengals.
And at the end of the day, I have to take the Chiefs because I can't believe anybody's ever going to go 7-0 against
Patrick Mahomes.
Well,
Yeah.
To get to 7-0, you'd have to go 4-0, and he's already going 3. And if you ever wanted to entice the number 1 seed and most likely the MVP of this season, make him a home dog in the snow in the AFC Championship game that they've been to 5 straight years. I won't be surprised if the Bengals win, but if I had to put it down, I'm going to say Chiefs.
Well, I'll say this. I want the Chiefs to win. I'm pulling for the Chiefs, but I'm trying to be objective here and look at what I saw happen this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And it's hard to ignore Cincinnati. And how cool would it be to see Cincinnati and San Francisco again in the Super Bowl? Wasn't that one of the greatest games ever?
Yeah.
When
They
they
played twice.
Yeah.
They played twice in the 80s.
Yeah. That was against Dwight Clark made the catch in that. Wasn't
No,
that against,
the catch was the
no, that was
NFC
the-
Championship
that was
game
the
against the
championship, yeah.
Cowgirls.
Cowboys.
against the
get-
Cowgirls.
Cowgirls. Yeah.
Cowgirls.
Cowgirls.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, ATI.
I do.
Cowgirls.
I do love the very first time that quick story. San Francisco's down against the Bengals. It's the first Super Bowl that they played. There's 2 minutes left in the game, and the whole team's out on the field freaking out. The story is told by the offensive lineman, and all of a sudden Montana comes walking back out to the huddle, and he's like, "Hey, look at here's John Candy's in the stands," and everybody turns around, and sure enough, John Candy's sitting in the 5th row. The offensive line said, "We're all freaking out about the game of our lifetime, and here's our star quarterback pointing out people in the stands." He said, "We know we had it at that point. If this guy's so cool, he's pointing out other things, But yeah, what a great rivalry.
The original Joe Cool. Joe
original
Montana,
Joe
right?
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
The original.
Well, actually, his name was probably the original, but yeah.
Yeah.
But all right. So we got 2 Bengals. 1 Bengal and 2 Chiefs for the championship game. So, boy, it's going to be a fun weekend. It really will be a fun weekend. And I hope they play in the snow. We'll see.
It's supposed to snow. They're looking for really, really cold And
I heard 12 degrees, but yeah.
correct.
that's-
But
yeah.
and at the end of the day, they're both cold teams, so it's not like you're bringing
It's
the
not that big a
Chargers
deal.
or the Dolphins
I'm
into
just-
the fray.
I'm glad they're not playing in a dome. Football is outdoor sport. All right, so we're running up against the clock here, guys. Alvin, thanks for being with us today,
Man,
buddy.
I appreciate
Love to have you
the
back.
invite, man. And just let me know when I can come back.
Oh, we'll do it. And guys, don't
Absolutely.
forget, take care of yourselves, know your numbers, cover your ass, get your prostate checked. We'll see you next week on Three Guys Who Love Sports.
Those are going to be two good.